Oliver has joined us here on the cut table, and there's someone scratching in the background, so the cats are awake. Oliver, you're not on the call sheet. Contrary to occasional belief, I am not a wizard. You are perfectly capable of conjuring every bit of magic that I may seem to muster. In fact, I firmly believe that you have far more pattern drafting knowledge than you have ever given yourself credit for. Not only can you do it, but I'm willing to bet you already have. Now, personally, I do two things. I make stuff and I write stuff, and in both instances, I find the blank white open page inviting as opposed to terrifying. And really the greatest news is that paper cannot bite, although you can. Therefore, a simple deduction. You are not afraid of paper, you are afraid of failure. Now, while the trepidation surrounding new leaps, or perhaps even just giving existing skills new names, may be understandable, pushing past that uncertainty will ultimately be wholly necessary. The very worst result from desecrating the sanctity of a blank page is that you will have to try again on a fresh one. That is an opportunity, a challenge perhaps, but not a valid reason to never try at all. In the best case scenario, it works, and in the worst case, you learn. Some, a fair few of you even, could trial this pattern drafting nonsense at long last and find out that it comes to you quite naturally. Now, won't that be a surprise? Then, of course, there are the previously enlightened, those who already have a block pattern set ready to go, those who I do not have to first convince. And lastly, some others will be tested. Whether it's pattern drafting, storytelling, villainy, we all have to start somewhere. Those who go on to succeed have just one tiny little something different going for them. They dare to be terrible. Because if you can never be terrible, then you will never be mediocre, and you will certainly never be great. But I'm bad at math, blah, blah, blah. No, you are bad at making excuses. I am bad at math, but I never use math when designing clothes. Don't be ridiculous. This is not math. If anything, it is sculpture. We can begin to argue there, but I will not entertain the idea that what I do daily requires a rich understanding of math. You can use math if you wish. It is magic in its own right, sure, and is in motion plenty in this process, but it is the invisible math, the kind that happens mostly without you having to notice it's there. If incidentally you do math, great pal, math harder, but I will only brush gently around the borders of numbers myself, and only when absolutely necessary. If you are going to spend hours futzing with fit every single time you want to try and make something, why not do that whole process just once, fit yourself a block pattern, and then never have to do that nonsense again? Do you think I made an entire custom wardrobe without a little bit of failure first? The difference in almost every success is perseverance. You have to be willing to be terrible, and then you have to be willing to keep going. And no one wants to hear this because no one wants to do any discouraging work. I get it. But I am trying to save you. Save you from additional struggles, save you time, save you money. You don't need to fix and fit every single sewing pattern you ever want to make up into a finished garment. You don't need to buy yet another pattern every time you wish to make a different design. You only need to fit one pattern perfectly. One. You fit the basic blocks, a starter pattern. It may get ugly, it may get a little sweaty, but you do it once and then everything you make using it as a base from then on, ever after, already fits. Unless you change, being human, as I assume you are. Okay, so you change size. You make a new block, and because you have fit one before, you can do it even better this time. The more you change, the better a pattern drafter you will become. You've fit a block pattern once before, you could certainly do it again. Fluctuations will only make you stronger. One more fear to conquer. And personally, I do find it sort of weird that people think their blocks will need to shift so often, though perhaps that is my own privilege talking. It wouldn't be the first time. My own body has absolutely changed half an inch here, a quarter of an inch there, fluctuates over the hours, months, years, but because I make my designs up in fabric as opposed to, rigid plastic, it never makes too much of a difference, certainly not enough for me to even stoop to altering my blocks much. I suggest having 2 blocks. Construct your hot and cold weather wardrobes accordingly. Just as every block must be drafted to fit each unique body, each drafter must create a different design system in their workroom that best works for them. I'm just perfectly alright with my clothes being a little tight sometimes and a little loose at others, but you do you. But you're still scared, aren't you? Afraid it won't be worth it. It will be. You seem to think you can't do it. Sure, some people can, but not you. And I don't really like that kind of negative self-talk. Why not you? If it takes a little bit more time, okay, there's no limit. If you need a little bit more help, okay, we have the entire internet at our disposal. The beginning is the hard part, but the rewards are worth the wait. Still, I went to school for this kind of thing. I have real training, and I have no idea what it's like to be just a normal person. Yes, you're right, and that was a very expensive way for me to end up teaching myself everything I know on my own anyhow. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I got some demos and then I tried it myself. That's how I learned. Now you have demos and you have to try it for yourself. And you don't even have to take a mandatory chemistry credit amongst the rest, so maybe just be thankful. In a classroom on the dining room table, the method you take to get your block patterns doesn't really matter. Start with a blank page or start with a non-ideal pattern and fix it. You will have to fuss with the fit for a few mock-ups either way. There's no value system attached to this. One method doesn't make you any better or worse than anyone else. A block is simply a base pattern. I use a bodice and skirt set personally, a sleeve often too that fits into said bodice. Think of them as building blocks. They are the simplest patterns that fit me how I like. They serve as a starting point from which I can create every style I desire. They are a base. I can add any flavor, toppings, but I start with the same base each and every time. Since the base already fits, anything I make using it will automatically fit as well. An initial pattern, a starting block, a bit of paper card, the key which unlocks an entire world of design. From fantasy frocks, sci-fi suiting to dresses for dangerous dames, the block is the beginning, and it's the only place we can start. Several years ago, I made a video called Learn Pattern Drafting, and some of you took my advice. But a few of you said to yourself, ooh, I should really get on that, and then still haven't started. So here I am again, a few years later, to tell you, trust me, trust us. I have faith that the comments below will reaffirm the mantra, learn pattern drafting. You can do it. Over a year ago, I nearly signed on to write a book on the subject. You just heard me read a version of the introduction. Instead of buying a book, you'll be getting the lessons here in video form for free. And if you would like to help me continue making videos and continue feeding my noisy, interruptive cats, please consider checking out my Patreon. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons who make my work and my videos possible. Now we start next week, so pick yourself up a ruler, and I'll see you again here soon. Bye. Ollie's, craft services said you took a bite of everything and then walked away. Is that true? Buddy? Come on, man.